Remember when Las Vegas was the ultimate playground for everyone? Cheap rooms, 99-cent shrimp cocktails, free parking, and a chance to live like royalty on a budget. Those days are gone. Now, regular travelers walk the Strip stunned by $32 burgers, $22 cocktails, and $50 Uber rides. Casinos look half empty, while luxury malls filled with Prada and Dior cater to an entirely different crowd. Middle-class visitors are quietly saying it. Vegas just isn't for us anymore. But here's the twist. Sin City isn't dying. It's transforming. Stay tuned, because the reason behind this shift will shock you. The death of the cheap Vegas deal. For decades, Las Vegas thrived on one simple promise: affordable indulgence. It didn't matter if you were a factory worker from Ohio or a truck driver from Canada. You could scrape together a few $100 and experience a weekend of glamour, gaming, and escape. But step into today's Vegas, and you'll find that promise shattered. Take the Park MGM, one of the Strip's more affordable hotels. A weekday room is listed at just $39. Sounds like a bargain, right? But look closer. Resort fees tack on another $50 a night, more than the room itself. Want a fridge in your room? That'll cost you extra. A can of Coke is $5, chicken wings $19, and 2 vodka Red Bulls nearly $40. Visitors resort to filling trash cans with ice because fridges are locked behind paywalls. What once felt like a city of generosity now feels like a city of nickel and diming. And meals? Forget about the legendary 99-cent shrimp cocktail or $9.99 buffets. Those symbols of value Vegas are history. Today, a basic breakfast runs $50. A cheeseburger? $32. Even tap water at some bars is charged at soda water prices, $13.50 for 2 glasses. For ordinary families, this isn't a vacation. It's a financial ambush. The consequences are clear. Tourism has dropped more than 10% this year, the steepest decline since the Great Recession. Long-time visitors are walking away, saying, "We'll probably never come back again." And they mean it. When people feel tricked instead of treated, they don't return. So who's left? The Strip isn't empty, it's just selective. Upscale malls glitter with Dior and Bulgari, where a single outfit costs thousands. Fine dining spots flaunt $400 caviar and $300 wine lists. Vegas hasn't died, it simply pivoted to chase high-net-worth tourists while leaving average visitors behind. And that raises a bigger question. If Sin City is no longer built for everyone, what's it really becoming? The answer lies not just in food prices, but in the very atmosphere of exclusivity creeping across the Strip. Empty casinos, full price tags. Picture this. It's 4 p.m. on a Monday, traditionally prime time for gamblers easing into the week. You walk into the MGM Grand, expecting the familiar hum of slot machines and the clatter of chips. Instead, silence. Row after row of empty tables, dealers with no players, and cocktail waitresses wandering without orders. Step across the Strip into the Bellagio, and it's the same story. Entire sections of the casino floor look deserted. So why are the casinos quiet, even when the Strip still draws visitors? The answer is painful. The costs have scared off the middle-class gambler. Once upon a time, you could play $3 blackjack at the Imperial Palace, and free buffets flowed just for sitting at the tables. Those freebies are gone. Today, blackjack tables often start at $25 to $50 per hand. High roller rooms sit unused, not because gamblers don't want to play, but because few can afford to risk hundreds or thousands on a single deal. The vibe has changed too. Longtime visitors describe it as subdued. Gone is the rowdy, spontaneous fun of cheap drinks and packed craps tables. Instead, you see small clusters of upscale tourists, many toting shopping bags from Prada and Louis Vuitton, strolling the casino floor without ever touching a slot machine. Gambling, once the lifeblood of Las Vegas, is no longer the main attraction. It's the luxury add-on. This shift has consequences beyond atmosphere. Casinos make less from actual gaming revenue now than from hotels, entertainment, and dining. That's why drinks cost $22 at Vanderpump's Paris Lounge, and why a deal for 2 attractions runs $55. Executives aren't chasing everyday players anymore. They're chasing the kind of visitor who won't blink at $129 shots of tequila. But there's a catch. By abandoning the budget-conscious gambler, Vegas risks losing its soul. The city built its reputation on accessibility, on the idea that anyone, rich or broke, could take a shot at fortune. Now, the casino floors tell a different story. Vegas is cool only if your wallet is stacked. For everyone else, it feels eerily hollow. And the emptiness isn't just inside casinos. It stretches across entire neighborhoods. Just a few blocks off the Strip, another troubling reality emerges. The mirage of affordable entertainment. Las Vegas once sold itself on a single irresistible promise: endless entertainment at prices anyone could afford. From pirate battles outside Treasure Island to the free Mirage Volcano show, the Strip used to overflow with spectacle you didn't need a platinum card to enjoy. But walk the Strip today, and that promise feels like a distant memory. Let's start with shows. Once you could grab a $30 ticket to a comedy act or a mid-tier magic show. Now, the cheapest seats for popular residencies run well over $100, and that's before fees. Headliners like Adele, U2, or the Sphere's mega-productions command prices north of $500 a ticket. Even niche acts, once the bread and butter for budget travelers, have been swept into the premium experience category. For the average couple, seeing just one show can cost more than their hotel room. Even so-called attractions have become part of the luxury pivot. Take the Slotzilla zipline downtown, $69 per ride. A novelty golf game at Atomic Golf? 50% off still puts you at nearly $50. And those legendary $9.99 steak dinners? Gone. In their place, $50 plates of fried appetizers or $24 meatballs. For many families, the fun has turned into financial shock. And the free entertainment that once drew crowds? It's shrinking too. The Mirage's Volcano, a symbol of free Vegas magic, is slated to vanish entirely. Other strip-side spectacles have been scaled back or replaced with luxury retail space. Instead of fire and thunder, you get Dior and Prada storefronts glimmering under desert lights. The shift isn't accidental. Executives are intentionally targeting high-spending tourists, those willing to pay $22 for a cocktail and $400 for caviar. To them, Vegas isn't about cheap thrills anymore. It's about exclusivity, about crafting an image of sophistication that deliberately edges out the middle class. But there's a dangerous irony here. By stripping away affordable fun, Las Vegas risks alienating the very visitors who built its empire. And where do those visitors go when they feel priced out? Increasingly, they're finding cheaper escapes in overlooked destinations, just outside Sin City's glittering core. The price of simply getting around. In the old days, Las Vegas made visitors feel welcome before they even set foot in a casino. Parking was free, shuttle buses were cheap, taxis were everywhere at reasonable rates. Getting around the city wasn't part of the gamble. But today, transportation itself has become another game of financial roulette. And it's the tourists who keep losing. Take ride shares and taxis. A quick hop from the Strip to Fremont Street, barely a 15 to 20-minute ride, can now run $30 each way. For a family of 4, that's $120 just to go downtown for dinner and back. Airport runs, once a casual $10 to $15 cab ride, now spike into the $40 to $50 range depending on surge pricing. For budget-conscious travelers, the cost of mobility adds up before they've even touched a slot machine. Even parking, long a sacred freebie in Vegas, has been hijacked by corporate logic. Nearly every major resort on the Strip now charges for self-parking. Expect $15 to $25 per day, and if you're unlucky enough to valet, brace for $30 to $50 nightly charges. A weekend trip can tack on $100 or more just to keep your car in the desert. For locals who once drove in for a night of gambling, this shift is especially punishing. The barrier to entry has never been higher, and while Vegas touts its futuristic solutions, like Elon Musk's loop tunnels, those remain gimmicky and limited. Most visitors still rely on pricey ride shares, crowded buses, or long, sweaty walks across mega-resorts linked by confusing pedestrian bridges. What should feel like freedom ends up feeling like friction. The consequence? Tourists talk. Word spreads quickly in forums and YouTube comments. $30 to park? $40 Uber rides? $50 just to move around? No thanks. These complaints reflect something bigger than annoyance. They reveal a shift in perception. The sense that Vegas no longer values accessibility, but exclusivity. And once the journey itself feels like a hassle, the destination starts losing its shine. That's why some longtime fans are exploring alternatives just outside the Strip, places where mobility doesn't feel like a luxury tax. But the erosion of trust doesn't stop with taxis and parking. For many, the ultimate betrayal lies in the heart of Vegas hospitality: the food. Dining has become a luxury sport. Food used to be Las Vegas's great equalizer. No matter how much you lost at the tables, you could drown your sorrows in a cheap buffet or a 99-cent shrimp cocktail. That promise of value fed not just bellies, but the entire Vegas brand. Today, those culinary bargains are extinct, replaced with price tags that leave average visitors stunned. Consider this. A basic breakfast for two at a Strip resort can easily top $50. Not steak and champagne, just eggs, toast, and coffee. A cheeseburger? $32. Chicken wings? $19 for 6 pieces. A fruit cup? $7. Even soda water, once free as air, is billed at $13.50 for 2 glasses. Guests who once marveled at Vegas' generosity now shake their heads at what feels like relentless gouging. The legendary buffets, once iconic crowd pleasers, have also been gutted. Where you once paid $9.99 for endless prime rib, today's offerings often run $50 to $70 per person. That means a family of 4 can drop nearly $300 just on one casual meal. The very concept of value Vegas has been bulldozed by corporate logic. Of course, there's still food on the Strip, but the focus has shifted sharply upscale. Think celebrity chef restaurants with $400 caviar, $300 wine lists, and $30 penny pasta plates. The culinary scene, once a quirky blend of cheap and cheerful, now caters almost exclusively to high rollers and Instagram influencers. For ordinary travelers, it's not about indulgence anymore. It's about survival. Many visitors now admit to smuggling snacks from Walgreens or skipping meals just to offset resort fees and ticket prices. The problem isn't just sticker shock, it's the erosion of trust. Vegas built loyalty by making people feel like winners, even at the buffet line. Now, too many leave with the sour taste of being squeezed at every turn. And in a world where word of mouth spreads instantly online, that shift is devastating. But here's the bigger danger. Food was once how Vegas forgave you for losing at the tables. Without that soft landing, visitors are left with nothing but the sting of their losses. And if food no longer offers comfort, what about safety? The cracks are showing in another way that hits even harder. Safety and the vanishing middle-class crowd. Vegas has always been edgy, but in a fun way. The kind of place where neon-lit chaos felt thrilling, not threatening. That balance is slipping. As the city pivots toward wealthier guests, many longtime visitors notice something missing. The middle-class crowd that once filled the sidewalks, packed the buffets, and turned the Strip into a carnival of shared excess. And with that absence, the atmosphere feels less safe, less welcoming, and frankly, less fun. Wander a few blocks off the Strip and the cracks become obvious. Empty strip malls, boarded-up storefronts, and shuttered casinos dot the landscape. Security guards with heavy weapons stand outside gas stations. Homeless encampments, though kept out of tourist-heavy zones, spread into nearby neighborhoods. Longtime fans describe Vegas as sketchier now. Cleaner on the Strip itself, but more fragile just beneath the surface. Even inside the casinos, the vibe is shifting. Where blackjack once buzzed with $3 tables and free drinks, you now see sparsely populated pits with higher buy-ins. That missing energy isn't just about money, it's about people. Middle America, the bus tours, the snowbirds, the weekend warriors, are coming less often, citing resort fees, inflated food costs, and expensive transport. The visitors who remain skew wealthier, quieter, and more insulated. The Strip feels polished but subdued. And when fewer regular folks come to town, safety concerns rise. Fewer eyes on the street means emptier sidewalks at off hours, giving crime more room to breathe. Tourists whisper about getting hustled, pickpocketed, or feeling uneasy walking from one mega resort to another late at night. While official crime stats remain debated, perception is reality in tourism. If people feel unsafe, or if they sense the soul of Vegas has been replaced by cold corporate luxury, they're less likely to come back.
The irony? In chasing high rollers, Vegas risks alienating the very crowd that gave it life and laughter. A playground with no kids isn't playful, it's just empty equipment. And as the fun evaporates, another brutal reality moves in. The desert itself is becoming one of Vegas's fiercest enemies. The desert climate tax. Las Vegas has always sold the desert as part of its allure. Sunshine year-round, warm nights, and pool parties in January. But lately, that same desert is becoming less of a perk and more of a penalty. Extreme heat, rising utility costs, and water scarcity are quietly adding a new climate tax to the Vegas experience, and it's one most middle-class visitors can't afford to pay. Start with the heat. Summers now regularly smash through 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius, with stretches where it barely dips below 90 degrees Fahrenheit at night. Walking the Strip, once part of the fun, feels more like a survival exercise. Visitors dart between air-conditioned casinos just to avoid the oppressive sun. That carefree stroll vibe? Gone. And then there are the hidden costs. Electricity bills in the desert are soaring as resorts crank air conditioning non-stop. Guess who pays for that? Guests, through inflated resort fees and higher room rates. Even something as simple as keeping your drink cold comes at a premium. Remember, hotels now charge for refrigerators. Staying cool isn't a luxury anymore, it's an upcharge. Water scarcity adds another layer. Nevada's shrinking share of the Colorado River has sparked conservation mandates, driving up costs for everything from landscaping to pool maintenance. Hotels still flaunt fountains and sprawling pools, but behind the scenes the math is brutal. Those costs don't disappear. They're folded into your $22 cocktails and $50 breakfasts. The desert is also magnifying inequality. Wealthier visitors retreat to private cabanas, climate-controlled lounges, and luxury spas. Meanwhile, everyday tourists fight the heat in long taxi lines or trek blocks under blistering sun to avoid rideshare surges. The divide isn't just financial, it's physical. Vegas is literally becoming harder to endure if you don't have money to insulate yourself from the environment. And the long-term picture? Climate models predict even hotter summers and deeper water shortages. The Vegas that once promised cheap comfort in the desert now demands you pay a premium just to exist there. For the middle class, that's one surcharge too many. But climate isn't the only thing reshaping Vegas. It's also the economy itself. And when your job market is built on fragile tourism, cracks spread faster than you think. The fragile economy, behind the glitz. Beneath the neon glow, Las Vegas has always had a one-trick economy: tourism. The Strip isn't just entertainment, it's the city's lifeline. But as travel patterns shift and costs skyrocket, that dependency is starting to look more like a liability than a strength. And regular folks are the first to feel it. Tourism numbers tell the story. This year, visits are down more than 10%, the steepest decline in over half a century, even worse than during the 2009 Great Recession. Part of that drop is global. Canadians still bristle at tariff disputes, Latin American families worry about U.S. immigration policies, and many Asian and European travelers simply stay home. Add in the rise of online gambling, and suddenly Vegas isn't the default gaming destination anymore. It's just another option, and an expensive one at that. That shrinking visitor base collides with an economy overwhelmingly tied to hospitality. When casinos cut staff, when restaurants close midweek, when convention attendance dips, it ripples outward. Rideshare drivers, hotel workers, even small businesses in strip malls just off Las Vegas Boulevard all feel the squeeze. The result? Entire neighborhoods look hollowed out, with shuttered storefronts and for lease signs a few blocks from billion-dollar resorts. Meanwhile, the jobs that remain aren't keeping up with costs. The average hourly wage in Vegas sits around $26, barely budging while home prices and rents soar. Locals who once tolerated modest pay because of cheap living now face California-level expenses without California-level income. For workers, the city of dreams is turning into the city of debt. And then there's the looming risk. If another shock hits, be it a recession, climate crisis, or another pandemic, Vegas has little buffer. With so few industries outside tourism, the economy could unravel faster than the lights on a busted slot machine. For wealthy visitors, the economy's fragility hardly matters. They come, spend, and leave. But for everyone else, the uncertainty is another reason to stay away. And at the center of this transformation lies the biggest cultural shift of all: the disappearance of community roots that once made Vegas more than just a playground. A city without roots. The final, and perhaps most damaging shift in Las Vegas isn't just about money, it's about identity. For decades, Vegas was more than a weekend escape. It was a community of workers, families, retirees, and transplants who gave the city character beyond the Strip. But today, that sense of rootedness is slipping away, leaving behind a glittering but hollow shell. Look closer and you'll see why. Vegas has one of the most transient populations in America. Workers cycle in for jobs in hospitality, burn out from long hours and low pay, then move away. Investors buy properties, but many sit empty or operate as short-term rentals. Neighborhoods that once bustled with school events and block parties now feel temporary, populated by people who aren't sure how long they'll stay. This lack of stability creates a ripple effect. Without strong community ties, schools struggle to maintain funding and consistency. Crime feels harder to fight when neighbors barely know each other. Small businesses falter without a loyal base of repeat customers. And when the cost of living soars, sky-high rent, crushing resort fees, outrageous grocery bills, locals don't fight for change, they pack up and leave. Tourists feel this shift too. The Vegas of old had a contagious energy because locals loved showing off their city. Today, that energy feels muted. Visitors describe walking the Strip and seeing crowds, but not joy. People trudge between mega resorts carrying luxury shopping bags, but the laughter, the spontaneous parties, the sense of "we're all in this together" has evaporated. Vegas feels corporate, curated, and cold. This rootlessness may not bother the ultra-wealthy who parachute in for a weekend of fine dining and luxury shopping. But for everyone else, it changes the essence of the trip. Vegas no longer feels like an escape for the masses. It feels like a gated playground for the few. And that's the real tragedy. Vegas didn't just lose its cheap buffets or free parking. It lost its soul. So there you have it. Vegas hasn't died, but it has changed. Unless you're rich, the city feels less welcoming and far less fun. Personally, I think the soul of Sin City lies with the everyday visitor, and until that comes back, the magic will keep fading. What do you think? Comment below.